Hello, my dear friends. Today we are counting day number 28, and I'm gonna see you in a mirror special effect. Isn't that great what we can do with technology these days? I'm simply amazed about what you always can do. So here I am. Here we are together, reunited in my tea garden for another lovely adventure ahead. Los Angeles it is. And yes, reality is shifting. Change is an ongoing thing. Someone told me once in New York that the one thing that I have to really get used to is change, as it consistently is happening. And I was like, what do you mean? What do you mean change? Because I always disliked change. I don't know if I still do. I don't think about it. I go with the flow, like Bruce Lee said it. Empty your mind, my friend, and become water. But that's certainly, change is something that probably everyone is not really happy about, especially when it's wonderful things that change and go away, or people leaving, or situations, or passing, or whatever, you know. So change, yes. So change is one thing that I am addressing today, and that's what we're doing today. Changing my life. I changed my direction of path from officially set it into motion yesterday in my story, and let's find out what that change is bringing along. All right, change is good. Change is good if you approach it with your heart. All right, the ego doesn't want change. He likes the comfort zone, but the heart loves change. All right, and so do you. All right, let's go. Oh, hello. Hello. After those newly achieved reality transformation creations, I then with lots of joy directed all my focus back to this thus far rather rewarding experienced self-love discovery journey, and towards the preparation of my soul for the on the other rope of things as uncomfortable perceived Big Apple Reconnection ride approach. Boo! Thankfully, the always supportive universe meanwhile already wonderfully took care of the latter to be able to take its proper course by providing my dutiful marching inner or Treyu warrioress with two very exciting and a super happy comfort zone interpreted NYC highlighted treats. Yeehaw! Ready? Ta-da! Number one introduced itself a couple of months earlier with the fifth seamless set villain collaboration opportunity of Little Linda's Vessel in the from my talented filmmaker friend for mid-July scheduled LGBT erotic thriller short film creation called Taste. And number two announced itself in the middle of February with the amazing inflowing news flash from my precious long-time extended family member Mune that one, all her many own blood and extended family members just happened to have gifted her the from apparently my dear friend's aunt secretly desired JFK round-trip airfare green paper resources to her vessel's 4th decade milestone celebration occasion, and that she therefore too would love to materialize her missed Little Linda hugging mission as soon as my own vessel would be finding itself safe and sound back on New York City's ground again. Cool. Yeah, this is so cool, right? Woohoo! Yes, and these invaluable established 2nd of July week treats most certainly hit my soul spot on. Yeehaw! Thanks, you wonderful universe, you. Love. As far as of my mysterious, never-ending OMG wait a while cruising yellow key situation at hand, I most certainly, alongside with the purchase of a one-way JFK ticket, for now, also took the liberty to schedule a live meeting with my newly hired captain, including his very friendly and helpful assistant aboard, in order for our souls to get to know each other in a one-on-one opportunity as well, and to furthermore exchange our both experienced whereabouts as wild and freely as possible. Sweet, let's go. With very mixed feelings about this just ended NYC wrapping up chapter at hand, my vessel then found itself by the end of June ready steady to spend one last month in my old reality creation, embarking the assigned aircraft at the late PM, whilst thoughts like, how would this homecoming feel like, or what effects would this meanwhile as rather dark perceived city cause into my more relaxed and peaceful inner created world, kept my mind busy throughout those 6 hours up in the air. Interestingly, I then, as soon as the pilot successfully docked our airplane at its destined JFK terminal on this Monday early morning, instantly came to notice how my entire vessel suddenly started to fill itself with heavy emotions, and how the further noisy and hectic approaching welcoming vibes left my awareness check with some rather unpleasant and resisting emerging feelings. What? Go away! Ugh! After a this time smooth traveling back journey to my Williamsburg home sweet home base, I then at around 9:05 a.m. with lots of curiosity and with a deep breath decided to unlock the on Monitor Street located apartment door, and the reality check of finding my vessel placed in this suddenly as rather tiny and narrow perceived residence again felt extremely weird and surreal all in one. Oh yeah, and let me tell you, my precious co-traveler, the from then on additional added emotions caused by, for instance, one, the expected hugging welcoming gestures from the out of the blue appearance of my roomie of 1.5 years, including the one of my Swiss friends, and by two, the as rather overwhelming perceived truth or dare action choice of placing my little Linda vessel after a secluded he who looks inside awakens excursion of 6 months, and this within the as opposite experienced yin and yang sphere, right into the middle of this pulsating, loud, and with an abundance of vessels filled Union Square formation, with no doubt even more so succeeded in intensifying whatever my soul ungrowingly kept on undergoing ever since our touchdown a couple of hours earlier. Bow, wow, all or nothing, right? Oh, LOL. The adaptation process of these newly presented energies, though thankfully only took my meanwhile with this rather familiar empty your mind and become water my friend exercise trained self, only a couple of days, which reality update therefore parallel allowed this with fun facts filled cause and effect delivered mirroring adventure sides the from my determined and on the edge marching inner Artreyu warrioress until thus far implemented US Swiss Linda adjusting and rebooting action steps appear in a very interesting light. First of all, it very soon came to my attention that even though my soul found herself rather busy with the smoothing out practice of this newly exposed culture shock right at hand, my inner ungrowing oak tree, as a matter of truth, presented itself to my thrilling joy with a lot more gathered lightness and peace compared to the beginning of the year at run. Yay! Well, and as this throughout the first few days with special effects filled self-love phenomena still found itself radiating in some higher tunes through various during at that time period encountered cashier souls, furthermore felt prompted to point out that each one of them loved my energy, and that two, my own soul state of floating apparently appeared rather different compared to their usual customers. And thanks! Joyfully, little Linda then every time quickly would appear and inform them with a big smile that her vessel just happened to have returned from a magical Cali dreaming excursion adventure, and that this is what we do over there. Oh yeah, that's right. By the arrival of my first Saturday, though, I suddenly came to face the phenomena of how my soul already started to miss the friendlier, uplifting, and with a lot more nature-filled wild West Coast lifestyle creation that those crumbled protective walls already felt prompted to slowly rebuild themselves again, that this concrete jungle's formation simply involved a little bit too much unnecessary effort for my wonderfully charged batteries, and that I, for these and for many more reasons, actually very much so felt ready steady to hit the road again. Ha! Though my wish is my command, action step needed to remain with Madame Procrastination until this very pre-agreed now moment, in which all the goals upon my preset NYC closing chapter itinerary would be finding themselves happily ticked off, of which the as most important self-loving marked task carried my utmost desire to exit this once as thrilling and magical perceived Big Apple living on Earth game playground with as much peace and love for its soul and for the there still existing accumulated few dragons as possible. Oh yeah, and this essential healing stepping stone element certainly needed to get attained by my driven inner Artreyu warrioress as powerfully as feasible, as I after all found myself very aware of the two facts that my vessel, for one, would remain afar for quite some years, once up in the air again, and that this for now last organized making peace opportunity, therefore too, would enhance my ongoing and thus far as so rewarding experience finding back home again journey with so many more important key life toolbox puzzle piece ingredients. And this soothing, upscaling chant certainly resonated in its very high notes with my soul in regards of my precious discovered like attracts like quest at hand. That's right. Now, in order for those eagerly set goals to get accomplished as productive as possible within these remaining almost 4 weeks at run, my lovely inner voice, therefore, as for its motivational suggestion and gesture, decided to remind my sparkling soul on this particular Saturday afternoon of where my vessel found itself currently vibrating in, and that my pleasantly gained personal and precious time and energy resources, therefore, for the time being required a little bit more of my attention than usual. Ha! And this important element truth I truly almost forgot. Oops, I did it again. Guided by this helpful, "Thy will is my command" recommendation, I then slowly continued my already sorting out, eliminating, and packing entered mission, whilst little Linda excitedly counted the nights for this surprise announced extended family member reunion spectacle to occur on this for the second half of the following week set now moment. Yeehaw! Wow, and how thrilling this longed for materialization instant felt of witnessing how my dear Miss Geneva body in crime's vessel suddenly, after a prior "I'm almost here" in-beeping heads-up text message, started to appear out of it in front of my Williamsburg home sweet home base stopped yellow cab. Wow! And this new surreal dream-like presented head cinema creation certainly immediately succeeded in triggering myself to check in with my soul if this really was my Myrne. You know, this fun girl who ended up missing her train at the very beginning of our delightful housekeeping school adventure in 1991. Remember? Giggle, giggle, giggle. Or if of this experience simply happened to be part of a wild dream. Somebody poke me please. Gina? Wink. Of course it was her, for real. In this way overdue family reunion experience, which enabled for my still patience practicing and somewhat tired turned soul to for once fully let go with my eyes wide shut whenever in company of this very familiar from little Linda's magical teenage reminder days rooted dear one, whilst I furthermore allowed for myself to simply dive into this extraordinary, soothing, and much needed quality time emerged getaway opportunity with no doubt ended up unraveling itself as the perfectly from the wonderful universe this time around orchestrated closing act gesture. Ha! And gratitude. Those way too fast speeding precious for granted days. Within this, our second mutually entered Big Apple living on Earth came excursion, the two of our souls happily ended up filling with lots of giggling, relaxing, walking, exchanging, reflecting, enjoying, floating, nature seeking, sweating, and with many new and with fun facts filled memory creations for our ongrowing Monica Linda repaired to our collection before my beloved Geneva body's vessel thereafter merrily returned back into the arms of her meanwhile own cute and produced family members located upon our wonderful home sweet home Confederate started out planet, love. Alongside with the closure of this first NYC undertaken super happy comfort zone highlighted treat, my with patience cruising still on hold put inner artist, then with bittersweet accompanied emotions, kept on preparing herself for her last thus far in front of a moving picture camera recorded speaking performance part, which casting call found itself getting set 2 days after Muna's departure. Sweet! Wait, what? Last performance? What? Yup, that's right. And that for these surprisingly cites my newly hired captains one day prior to my Geneva body's appearance, disclosed a recommendation update to one instantaneously refrain from any acting interactions until this mysterious never-ending security check stated yellow key case would be finding itself in its being solved mode as based on the lawful truth too. Any in the magical world of the internet exposed Linda wartenweiler related art material dating 2013 and younger potentially could harm our ongoing visa journey at BZZ, and this for its too late arriving reason that 3 all the many from my end since then primarily free entered dream come true adventure creations actually in the eyes of an immigration officer would indicate that my being on hold said vessel no matter what illegally continued to work. Boom. What? Excuse me? Well, and this minor just revealed detail truly would have been rather helpful to have been aware of a few years prior, as the magical universe nevertheless resumed supporting little Linda's all-time beloved swimming against the dream desire by sending a various amount of acting treats, my patience practicing and grateful for it in an artist's way, which as its cause and effect truth to my excitement ongrowingly kept on feeding Linda wartenweiler's flourishing IMDb page with many, especially during that time frame, collected credits. Ooh, snap! Into what a messy whirlwind mess this entire free, nothing to worry about, acting dream, piece of cake, melting away disaster simply continued transforming itself into. What else will we both learning, right, my dear co-traveler? This granted reality update certainly led my dutiful and law-following Swiss originating soul instantly pray that all those many as illegal declared online exposed Linda wartenweiler evidence creations did not stand in direct connection with this earlier on unraveled security Easter egg spectacle, and to therefore furthermore decide that this upcoming and suddenly as risky exposed acting taste opportunity must be it then, until further notice. Sniff. Yep. Guided by my in that instant pulled positivity card remedy trick, the then emerged fact of at least being able to experience this last set performance within this the other planet formation in which everything happily began, caused for my somewhat intimidated turned inner artist to accept whatever got asked from her end as part of this newly welcomed further risk avoiding strategy plan upon this don't dream your life, live your the ultimate childhood dream shutting down path of mine. Bummer. Equipped with this shifting outlook, I then on the arrived particular mid-July scheduled morning made my way filled with a variation of mixed vibrations and ready steady to rock and roll towards its in Williamsburg set shooting location. The reconnecting experience with my dear talented filmmaker friend, including with the many from his end ongrowingly re-recruited familiar cast and crew member souls, thankfully unraveled itself into another wonderful and with fun facts filled last concrete jungle undertaken adventure, of which the stepping into the usual, especially for little Linda created villain shoes of a this time dead French-speaking mother character certainly stood out the most. Action! Voila, ça y est. The wonderful cause and effect result out of this latest and with taste-filled undertaken soul acting dream collaboration creation, though, to my surprise and to this very arising now moment, unraveled itself with the many sides my dear talented filmmaker friends ambitious throughout the overpast 2 years proactivity-based undertaken promoting stepping stone action choices of having won an impressive amount of 31 awards in various categories, resulting from the thus far 33 accepted film festival celebrations that too my never-ending on hold put Linda wartenweiler vessel therefore nevertheless unknowingly continued and still continues its magical journey on the big screen, and this geographically spread out from New York City to Auckland, Virginia, London, Canada, Washington, D.C., and right to my current home sweet home state, Californication. For instance, and with the update that this rewarding, fingers crossed, screening cycle should be continuing its magical flow until further notice. Wow, how amazing! Bravo, everyone, bravo. Life is good after all. Oh yeah. And this just discovered hip hop hooray, ho, hey, ho storyline redirects my train of thoughts right back to little Linda's first ever starred in music video, which interesting emerging awareness revelation furthermore leads me as part of our ongoing experience connecting exercise to realize that this in 2007 produced Circa Survive video, the in 2012 until thus far unmentioned Death by Scrabble short film creation, and the latest taste performance to my own knowledge appear as the 3 most popular and still out there exposed art pieces of Linda wartenweiler's vessel, which facts on a closer look even mark a rather fascinating beginning, middle, and end milestone loop cycle upon this closing Don't Dream Your Life, Live Your Dream chapter at hand. Love it. Gratitude. The third, very spontaneous created highlight that immediately succeeded in convincing my inner Artreyu warrioress to take the fullest advantage of within this entire last NYC wrapping up month at one, found itself getting triggered during from my end, on the 4th of July weekend, surprise, undertaken visit at my first dear close Big Apple gained co-Gemini friends, then fairly new opened restaurant called Mighty, which is located in Bushwick, Brooklyn. After some happy reunion, catching up celebrations, and after some fun, get into the groove, shared dance moves to some of our mutually favorite Madonna 80s tracks, her soul then suddenly found herself curious about my vessel's availability during the last week of July, as she happened to be in the need for an extra pair of managing filling in hands for a couple of evenings. Well, and as the suggested dates with no doubt ended up fitting into my overall very flexible set NYC game plan at hand, I certainly happily right away jumped aboard onto this kind of presented trusted offer, and this even more so with the reality outlook of therefore furthermore being enabled to end this vacation with the gesture of supporting my first within this boot camp adventure attracted close friend with her baby, whom my soul of course also ended up connecting with during one of these many precious and legendary all night long, all night, oh yeah, deep and juicy spectacles. Oh yeah, wink. Certainly those few scheduled nights simply ended up being the further perfectly from the wonderful universe orchestrated wrapping up formula, and this even more so as I found myself on top of it all able to create some last exciting living on Earth game adventures with my beloved red bike companion, Miss Rusty, while doing so. Yeehaw! This mighty owner / chef coach Gemini friend of and little Linda actually do share a rather incredible dog connecting incident that must be revealed here as well, which storyline finds its origin placed within those magical Hale Keller grade school years. What? That far back? Yup, that far back, my curious co-traveler. LOL. Ready, steady, zoom! During every attended school day, starting from our first fourth grade on in 1985 until spring 1987, the vessels of my dear NYC Katya friends and my own always used to be sitting right next to the earlier on mentioned Alexandra one that found its roots halfway in Switzerland and the rest in Colombia. Now, as this Alexandra's and my soul ended up getting along rather well, we therefore quickly became good friends and decided to create some further with fun facts filled living on Earth game adventures outside of the school environment as well, of which results, ta-da, yes, in the invention of the still a secret remaining stinky nickname reason for Herrn Carl Gustav Jung's once home sweet home chosen birth village. Ha, that's right. Then by the time that the end of our mutual 5th grade enter journey slowly started to approach, this dear classmate of ours suddenly came to inform everyone that one, her mother decided to relocate their home sweet home base to a place called Miami that happens to be located on this thrilling sounding the other planet, and that for that reason too, a time to say goodbye moment would be arising for us all shortly. Okay, sniff. Oof. Certainly, the two of our souls for quite some time succeeded in staying in touch within these pre-revolutionary electronic pen and paper days by keeping each other posted with occasional letter and postcard exchanges before time eventually disconnected us for good. Bye-bye. Then, as soon as my little Linda wait a while vessel 22 years later on a regular basis started to hang out with this randomly on the dance floor encountered extremely wild and free-spirited co-Gemini ones, I therefore soon came to learn that her with Hispanic and Germanic equipped souls, home sweet home base roots, all the way to South Colombia, and that based on an inner reoccurring Miami relocation urge, her soul, at its vessel's 19th year's count, came to decide to continue her many living on Earth game adventures up north before the Big Apple called my new friend over a couple of years later. Based on these revealed facts, my reliable head cinema library for that reason instantly got triggered to reproduce some of my own thus far Colombia-Miami experienced recordings onto its screen, which cause and effect reflection, and thereafter instantly prompted for little Linda to recite the storyline of my then to this the other planet fun lost Alexandra classmate, and for this newly wild and free gained co-Gemini friend to further let me in on the interesting truth that too, in Miami, she herself for 3 years straight became rather tight with a Colombian-rooted Alexandra, whose vessel prior used to be residing somewhere in Switzerland. Wow, what a cool coincidence, right? As amazed and driven by this arisen, maybe mutual Alexandra vessel interaction experience, our both souls then curiously started to dive into a picture organizing hunting quest of our each own Alexandra version in order to find out about this just discovered and with similarity filled storyline. Now, even though our both first attempts ended up leaving us empty-handed, my own Gemini's curiosity nevertheless ungrowingly felt triggered to check this incredible Facebook invention in the hopes to at some point come across of a from my ex-classmate opened account including picture, which efforts a few months later finally paid themselves off. Yay! Gotcha! Ha! And most certainly, you all along already kept on sensing to where this storyline is heading itself up to, right, my precious co-traveler? That's right. And bingo. As crazy and incredible this may sound, the two of our souls truly ended up attracting the exact same stinky Alexandra vessel into our own precious living on Earth game adventure creations. Wow, right? This almost unbelievable and super random I am possible encountered true Snapple fact attracts like coincidence, accompanied by the additional gained awareness realization that this storyline on top of it all even finds itself being connected to my in July 2013 after rock bottom encountered he who looks outside dreams, he who looks inside awakens recommendation discovery to this very second keeps holding its power in leaving little Linda with rather mind-blowing sensations. Wow. The magical universe, the all-time surprising magical universe. Love. Now, since this in June 2006 entered artistic and self-developing bootcamp spectacle, with certainty found itself running towards its final countdown. I therefore, as part of my farewell present, ended up getting exposed to some additional rather interesting and mind-blowing puzzle piece life toolbox ingredients, which succeeded in providing my awareness with an overall very important eye-opening, clicking realization experience as of what caused this entire with magic-filled little Linda abandonment joyride to occur, and as of why it took my patience practicing so many years to at last close this within the other planet opened and with thrills and chills packed Pandora wombbox with an enough is enough attitude. Ready? Abracadabra. Sometime towards the end of the third week at run, I, after a friendly conversation, suddenly found myself getting triggered to start a YouTube researching mission on this very enticing, vibrating, and very psychological heard of codependency term, which which immediate entered the living on her Earth game adventure from the get-go successfully caused for little Linda to ungrowingly narrate each with truth-packed, clicked-on, reality-checked video spectacle with comments like, OMG, what? No way. No freaking way. What? Really? Oh my God, really? Oh no. Oh, what? OMG, no. Seriously? Poops. Oof. Yup. Something like that it must have sounded like whenever another piece of my ongoing awakening revelation journey successfully found itself getting unlocked by its perfectly targeted boom, boom, boom shots. Whilst I simultaneously awfully started to notice that all these many disclosed codependency symptoms actually precisely matched my very own throughout this acting, uncertainty, complete life change, invented US Swiss Linda behavior and pattern mechanism, which I, on top of it all, diligently and successfully more and more started to nurture throughout this entire concrete jungle adventure of 8.5 years. Pwah! And this discovery about my own self certainly hit me about as well as two fists probably would have once slowed down at the appearance of my face. Slam, bang, ouch. Right. Codependency. Woo. Yes, what is that, right? Oh, yo. Meanwhile, I found out there are many people out there. It's a thingy. It's a very interesting thingy. So, yes. But isn't it crazy about that Alexandra coincidence? I mean, that was really quite something. So you really never know who you meet and what's going on around with them. So therefore, it's the same thing when you're on Facebook, right? And you have mutual friends and you're like, how the hell do you know this person? How, what? It's just mind-blowing. To me, it's mind-blowing how that all works. But now with the times before Facebook and social media, you needed to really communicate to find that out. And yes, so it's really interesting. I think it's interesting, these kind of things. Or with the Nini, La Maman, how she was living in Morges, and then she becomes my boss in a grotto, and where everything just starts. You take grotto and it leads me all the way through those interesting coincidences with this girl from Tuakau, So it's just, I mean, it keeps on happening still now. I even had today another thing. I'm like, what? This is just crazy, but I love it. And that means, again, that's a synchronicity, a word invented by Mr. Carl Gustav Jung. And yeah, life is magical. I think so. And I hope you can see that too, feel it as well. And if not, follow your heart, check in with yourself and ask your little inner true self why it is not seeing it, and make it see. And if you want to, of course. I mean, some people love being in a state of mind of being not without magic. That might be his comfort zone as well. And hey, everything is perfect as long as one is happy or acceptive with what reality one is living in. I think everything is good. Everything is a wonderful opportunity to grow, to experience, and that's why we're here after all. We're here to experience and yeah, just to grow. All right? Okay, my dear friend, see you tomorrow. Be safe out there, and thank you for being you and for being here.